What's up, Bills Mafia? Welcome back to the channel where it's all Buffalo all day. We're diving deep into your team's biggest moves, hottest rumors, and game-changing storylines. If you're riding with the red, white, and blue, you're in the right place. Now listen, the Buffalo Bills aren't just sitting back and hoping for things to fall into place. This team is working day and night to improve, adapt, and build a roster that can finally push past the AFC title game and bring that Lombardi trophy home. Every signing, every tweak, every training rep is about one thing: getting better. And today, we've got a very interesting signing to break down. One that could go under the radar, but might end up being a total steal. But before we get into that, if you love the Bills, if you bleed blue, if you want this team to win it all, smash that like button and hit subscribe and turn those notifications on so you never miss a beat. All right, let's get into it. The Buffalo Bills have officially signed wide receiver Elijah Moore to a one-year deal worth up to $5 million. At first glance, it might look like just a depth signing, but don't sleep on this move because the numbers tell a much bigger story. Elijah Moore hasn't had the breakout career some expected when he was drafted in the second round back in 2021 as of Ole Miss. But before you write him off, let's ask the obvious question. Who's been throwing him the football all these years? Let's take a stroll through Elijah Moore's quarterback history, shall we? In New York, he had to catch passes from Zach Wilson, Joe Flacco, and Mike White. Not exactly an all-pro cast. Then in Cleveland, it somehow got worse. Over 2 seasons with the Browns, he saw Deshaun Watson, Jameis Winston, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and even Bailey Zappi under center. Yeah, that's not a typo. And now, for the first time in his career, Moore is going to be catching balls from one of the best quarterbacks on the planet, Josh Allen. And that's where this story gets really interesting. According to Joe Marino from the Locked On Bills podcast, Elijah Moore ranked number 5 in the entire NFL last season in lowest catchable target rate. Translation? He was getting garbage throws. And still, he managed to put up 61 receptions for 538 yards and a touchdown. Think about that. With all that chaos at quarterback, he was still productive. Imagine what he can do with a rocket-armed precision passer like Josh Allen. Want more proof? Take former Bills wideout Amari Cooper, another guy who played with Moore in Cleveland. When Cooper made the move to Buffalo, his catchable pass rate jumped from 62.3% to 75%. That's what happens when you have a real QB. So here's the big takeaway. Don't be surprised if Elijah Moore absolutely explodes in 2025. He's entering the prime of his career. He's motivated, he's finally healthy. And he's got a top 5 quarterback delivering the ball right where it needs to be. Add in Ken Dorsey's dynamic offense, now being retooled post-Stephon Diggs, and Moore could be one of the best value signings of the offseason. Right now, he's penciled in as the WR4 behind Keon Coleman, Josh Palmer, and Curtis Samuel. But don't be shocked if he climbs that ladder quickly, especially if Keon Coleman takes time to adjust to the league. Now, while the wide receiver room gets a fresh face, there's another side to this story. Running back James Cook, who racked up over 1,000 yards and 16 touchdowns last season, is entering the final year of his contract. And GM Brandon Beane made it very clear, if Cook wants a payday, he's going to have to prove he's still that guy. Beane told Tyler Dunne, from go long, he's competitive. He's working down in South Florida. But he knows he's got to show he's James Cook, the guy we saw last year, if he wants that payday, either from us or from someone else. Cook has been productive, no doubt, but the front office wants more leadership, more consistency, more impact in big games. And that's where Elijah Moore could actually help. With a more dynamic passing game, thanks to Moore's route running and ability to stretch the field, defenses won't be able to stack the box against Cook. You get more one-on-one matchups, more space, more opportunities for Cook to break free. And on the flip side, if Cook keeps pounding the rock and forcing safeties into the box, you're giving Moore those juicy slot matchups or letting him slip behind. Linebackers. It's a complementary setup, and the Bills' offense could be more balanced than it's been in years. So let's talk about value. Elijah Moore signed for just $5 million max, a fraction of what teams are paying for mid-tier receivers. And the best part, It's a one-year deal. It's a prove-it contract. That means Moore is motivated to ball out, earn a payday, and show the league what he can really do. It's low risk, high reward for the Bills. If he works out, you sign him or get comp picks. If not, you move on with no strings attached. Smart, efficient roster building by Beane and McDermott. So what can we expect from Elijah Moore this season? Here's my take: around 65 to 75 receptions, 750, 850 yards, and 5 to 7 touchdowns, especially if he builds early chemistry with Josh Allen. If he gets those numbers, he'll not only help this team win, he could be a huge factor in January when it matters most. Remember, playoff games are won with depth, surprises, and guys stepping up when defenses take away your top options. Elijah Moore could be that guy. All right, picture this. It's round 5 of the 2025 NFL Draft. The Bills already made a big move earlier, trading up in the 4th to land Deone Walker, a disruptive monster of a defensive tackle out of Kentucky. But that move cost capital. So now Brandon Beane and the front office had to wait and wait and wait until pick number 970 overall. That's a long time to sit and sweat when you got a name at the top of your board. And that name, Jordan Hancock, cornerback, Ohio State. A guy their scouting department was absolutely pounding the table for their GM Brandon Beane sat down with One Bills Live and said it himself. He was one of those ones we were sweating. It's sweating it. And listen, Beane's not dramatic. So when he says he turned around in the draft room and saw his scouting department erupt with excitement after they locked in Hancock, that means something. These are the guys who've been grinding film all year. Regional scouts, national evaluators. They don't get loud for just anyone. But for Hancock, they were fired up. So what's the deal with this kid? Why were scouts acting like he was a second rounder hiding in round 5? Let's talk about the resume. 6 feet tall, versatile build, played all 16 games last season, was a key starter on the 2024 CFP national champion Ohio State Buckeyes, didn't miss a single game over the past 2 seasons. That alone shows durability, toughness, and trust from coaches. He's got the frame to line up inside or outside, and his skill set screams moldable project, which is exactly what Sean McDermott and the defensive staff love. They don't want a finished product. They want a clay athlete they can sculpt into a playmaker. Hancock brings something Bills fans should be excited about: positional flexibility. We're talking about a guy who can slide into the nickel role, play over the slot, and, if needed, line up on the outside against taller wideouts. That kind of versatility is gold in today's NFL, especially when you're matching up against guys like Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, or even Travis Kelce sneaking out of the backfield. Beane even said it. The scouts kept bringing Hancock's name up as an undervalued mid-round steal. Not once, not twice, 4 times. Listen, day 3 of the NFL draft is where you find the hidden gems. That's where you grab guys with upside who just didn't pop on early boards because of scheme fit, injuries, or depth charts. And that's what the Bills believe they found in Jordan Hancock. This is a player the scouts were unanimous on when Beane asked them, "Who are you convicted on? Who's your guy?" Hancock's name came up more than any other prospect on the board. That says a lot, especially from the scouts who live on breathe college tape for 10 months straight. So, what's the plan for Hancock? Right now, he joins a cornerback room, led by Christian Benford, Taron Johnson, Kaiir Elam, Micah Hyde, if he plays some hybrid looks, and Maxwell Hairston, another Kentucky stud taken earlier in the draft. This isn't about starting week 1. This is about developing behind seasoned vets, learning the playbook, contributing on special teams, and being ready when that inevitable injury or opportunity comes. And let's not forget, in a league where nickel defense is basically your base defense now, having depth and athleticism in the secondary is non-negotiable. Now here's where things get interesting. Hancock's not a perfect prospect. Some scouts questioned his man-to-man coverage consistency. Others wanted to see more physicality and tackling. But guess what? That's exactly the kind of development project McDermott and Beane have succeeded with over the years. From Matt Milano to Taron Johnson, this franchise has a history of turning raw players into core contributors. If Hancock becomes a starting caliber corner by 2026, This is going to look like one of the biggest steals of the draft. All right, Bills Mafia, it's your turn. What do you think about the Elijah Moore signing? Can he finally break out now that he's got a legit quarterback? Will he push for WO2 or WR3 snaps this season? And how do you feel about the front office balancing Moore's addition with the contract situation for James Cook? Let me know in the comments below. I'll be reading them all, and I want to hear your takes. And before you bounce, don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a breaking story, trade rumor, or roster update. This channel is built by Bills fans for Bills fans, and the 2025 season is gonna be unforgettable. Let's go get that ring. Go Bills!